Welcome back to Monster Legends, home of fictional and real-life monsters. Today, we are diving into one of the darkest and most disturbing true crime stories in American history, the real-life horror of Ed Gein. You may have heard his name again because of Netflix's new series, Monster: The Ed Gein Story, starring Charlie Hunnam. But while Hollywood loves to dramatize, the true story of Ed Gein is even more horrifying than fiction. Ed Gein was born on August 27, 1906, in La Crosse County, Wisconsin. He grew up on a remote farm near Plainfield with his brother Henry and his overbearing mother, Augusta. She was a strict, deeply religious woman who taught her sons that the world was evil and that women, in particular, were instruments of sin. The Geins lived in isolation. Augusta rarely let the boys leave the farm, and social interaction was forbidden. When Ed's father died and later his brother Henry died under mysterious circumstances, it was just Ed and his mother left. After Augusta passed away in 1945, Ed was devastated. He lost the only person he ever truly cared about, and the last link to what little structure he had in his life. After his mother's death, Ed's behavior grew increasingly strange. He boarded up most of the house to preserve his mother's rooms exactly as they were, while he lived in a tiny, filthy section of the farmhouse. He began reading pulp magazines about Nazi experiments, grave robbers, and cannibals. Over time, his obsession with death and anatomy spiraled out of control. Between the late 1940s and 1950s, Ed Gein began visiting local cemeteries at night. He later confessed to digging up recently buried women who reminded him of his mother. He brought parts of their bodies home, where he used the skin and bones to create grotesque household items: masks, bowls, chairs, and even a suit made of human skin. He said he wanted to literally become his mother by wearing the skin of other women. It is a detail so grotesque that it inspired some of horror's most infamous movie killers, like Norman Bates from Psycho, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Buffalo Bill from The Silence of the Lambs. In 1954, a local tavern owner named Mary Hogan went missing. Then in 1957, hardware store owner Bernice Worden disappeared. Police searched Ed Gein's property, and what they found shocked the world. Inside his house, officers discovered human remains everywhere: furniture upholstered with human skin, a lampshade made from faces, a belt made of nipples, and Bernice Worden's body hanging in a shed, mutilated beyond recognition. When questioned, Ed confessed to killing Worden and Hogan and to robbing graves over and over again. He insisted he didn't remember all the details, often claiming he was in a daze or trance when he committed the crimes. Ed Gein was arrested and declared mentally unfit for trial. He spent years in a state hospital before being found competent in 1968. He was convicted of murder, but was declared legally insane. He was sent to Mendota Mental Health Institute, where he lived the rest of his life. Ed Gein died in 1984 from respiratory failure caused by lung cancer. Netflix's Monster. The Ed Gein story brings this horror back into the spotlight. Charlie Hunnam's portrayal focuses on Ed's broken mind, his obsession with his mother, and the twisted loneliness that consumed him. But while the series adds dramatic storytelling and invented dialogue, the core truth remains. Ed Gein's crimes were real, and they changed the face of horror forever. The Netflix version also introduces fictional elements, like a possible love interest and deeper Nazi war influences. These details aren't part of the verified history, they're added for drama. In reality, Ed lived a life of isolation, madness, and obsession, consumed by guilt, loneliness, and delusion. Ed Gein's legacy lives on, not through his crimes, but through the characters he inspired. As the reason the killer next door became one of the most terrifying archetypes in movies and television. His story reminds us that sometimes real monsters don't hide in the shadows. They live among us, looking ordinary, until their darkness finally spills out. So, what do you think? Did the Netflix series portray Ed Gein accurately, or did it go too far into fiction? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another true horror story. Until next time, keep on screaming.